perfect. Thank you.
Alrighty, so you're good to go. Welcome to yoga, everybody. Make sure you've just got a place where you can stretch out a little bit, either a yoga mat or just a comfy place on the floor. We're going to start our class tonight in easy pose. So just finding a comfortable seat, cross the legs. And then from here, we'll just turn the palms facing up, allow the hands to rest on the knees. When you're ready, just start to close the eyes. We'll take a few minutes here just to arrive on our mat tonight. So always begin by just starting to tune in with our body and our breath. So without changing anything here, just begin to notice the chest rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. Then from here, we'll bring left hand onto the heart, right hand can come onto the belly. Keep the eyes closed. We're just going to start to deepen our breath. So with the next inhale, feel it flow in through the nose, filling up the chest, all the way down to the low belly. And as you breathe in here, feel the belly expand into the right hand. Then go ahead, exhale, really drawing it out nice and slow with control. Good, so feeling the hands come in a little bit closer as the belly deflates here. And then go ahead, take another big deep breath in. Focusing on our nostril breathing here. So in through the nose. When you're ready to exhale, sending it back out through the nose. And we'll take one more big breath in. See if you can make this the deepest one yet. And when you're ready, exhale, release. Then from here, bring the hands back onto the knees, palms facing up. Whenever you're ready, just gently start to open the eyes. We're gonna stay seated for our first couple poses, but you can go ahead and switch the legs. So just alternating which one's on top and bottom. Take a minute to make sure you're rooted down into the mat. So feeling those sit bones connect, and then roll the shoulders back, finding a nice long tall spine. Then we're gonna come into side bend. So plant the left hand down. Go ahead, sweep the right arm up. So start by just extending that arm, reaching fingertips to the ceiling. And then if it feels okay to start to draw that arm over, you can reach over to the left side. So I always like to think about first opening through the chest and the heart, drawing it back, and then over. Good, hold for another breath here. And then we'll go into the other side. So this time, right hand plants down. Go ahead, sweep that left arm up. So start with a straight extension. When you're ready, maybe start to come over to the right side. And again, not just coming right over, because that can be a little hard on our back body, but reaching up first and then arching over. Good, take another breath here. Beautiful. Now we're just gonna flow from one side to the other. So just alternating here, maybe coming a little bit deeper each time we come over. Want to wake up our bodies nice and slow. So just back and forth with control, go at your own pace. Maybe taking it to one more time to each side, and then we'll come back to center. And so coming back to center, we'll go ahead, sweep both arms up, reach for the sky. Good, from here, draw the palms together, exhale, hands at heart center, and release. All right, so one more little pose here as we're sitting. So just starting to twist over to our left side, you can bring right hand across so it comes to the outside of left knee. And then before twisting over, open up through the chest. So think of really puffing our chest out here as we breathe in, And then maybe starting to twist over to the left side. Good, holding here for a couple of breaths. So on the inhale, lengthening. On the exhale, maybe twisting a little bit deeper. Take one more cycle of breath on this side. When you're ready to exhale, gently come out of the twist, facing back forward. Just pause for a moment. And then we'll come into the other side. So this time the left hand will come across to the outside of right knee. Right hand will come down behind. Big breath in. Opening through the chest, through the heart. Maybe even lift the head up a little bit. And then when you're ready to twist, just starting to look over the right shoulder a bit more. Just like we did on the other side. So breathing here, maybe twisting a bit deeper. Take another breath. And then gently release, come back to center. Now we'll start to straighten out our legs here, but we're gonna bring them wide. So make sure you've got lots of room. If you have a yoga mat, you can be on the wide edge of the mat. Good, so gently just bringing those legs apart. Take a minute to kind of wiggle up the toes, get rid of any snaps and cracks in the ankle. So waking up the legs a bit here. Good, now we're gonna come into our seated wide leg fold. So hands can start just in front of you, maybe planted on the floor of the mat. And we'll just start holding here. So this might be a pretty deep stretch already through the legs. So feel free just to stay here and breathe. We're gonna hold this pose for about 5 long, slow breaths. If you feel like you can come a bit deeper and you wanna fold forward, maybe start to walk the hands forward, bend the elbows, and maybe forearms will come down in front of you. If so, just start to bring your gaze down to the floor. Just looking out in front of you. Keeping that breath flowing here as we hold. And the last option, if you want to get super flexible and bendy, is to just reach the arms up in front of you. Maybe someday your forehead is going to come down. That takes lots of practice, so if you're not there today, no problem. Just be okay with wherever you are and focus on that breath. So with the next inhale, focus on really sending the breath all the way down to the toes. Getting that oxygen circulating through the whole body. Exhale it out. Good. When you're ready, we're slowly gonna bring our chest up here. So maybe start by just walking the hands in and lifting the heart. We'll keep the legs where they are, just adding in a little side stretch. So the left hand can come down. Go ahead, sweep the right arm up. Start to bring the gaze up here. You can look up towards the ceiling. And then from here, you can stay holding where you are, or maybe come down onto forearms. If you do come down a little bit more, just take a second to roll that right arm back, reaching for the sky. One more breath on this side.
Brooke,
Start to come, yeah?
I think somebody has a question about one of the exercises in the comment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just if any of the poses are uncomfortable, just make sure you take them to what feels good in your body. If it doesn't feel good, you can always just relax flat on your back, or you can take child's pose. We'll be coming into that one soon. So you're gonna come into the other side here. So plant the right hand down. Go ahead, start to extend that left arm up, reaching for the sky. An option to come down to the forearm on this side. Hold for another breath here. Good, and then we'll start to come out of this pose. So come back to center. Take a minute just to draw the legs in side by side. And then we'll bend the knees. Give yourself a nice big hug, surrounding the back body. Hands can interlock in front on top of the shins. Just really drawing everything in. And then when you're ready to come to tabletop, we'll find our way over onto hands and knees. Good, so meeting in our tabletop, let's take a minute to wake up our spine. So moving through our cat-cows. We'll start with cow pose tonight. So big breath in. As we breathe in, let the belly drop, really fill it up with air. You start to lift your chin up if that feels good. And then on the exhale, we're gonna round our back body. So think about really making that C shape through the back, tucking the chin, hugging the belly button in. Good, we'll move back into cow pose, maybe opening a bit more through the chest here, pressing the heart through as you breathe in. Exhale, round cat pose. Good job, everybody. Just gonna flow through a few more rounds here, so go at your own pace, just moving between our cat and cow. You want to stretch out the legs a little bit more, you can challenge yourself just by tucking the toes under. And just notice how that changes the stretch a little bit here. Good, we'll start to come back into our neutral spine. So if you tuck the toes, untuck them. And we're gonna find our puppy pose, also known as our melting heart. So for this one, we wanna keep our knees glued to the mat. Keep the hips stacked with the knees just like we are. And we're gonna begin just by walking the hands forward. Good, so moving nice and slow. Allow the forehead or the chin to make its way down to the ground. And then it can just relax onto the mat. And then once you've got your arms extended, make sure you take a minute to really press palms down into the ground. Yeah, this is another big stretch here for the chest, through the shoulders. So we want to take our time and really breathe into this one. Take one more breath here. And if you're ready to start to come out of this pose, we'll begin by just lifting the head up. Slowly start to walk the hands in closer to the body. We'll come back into tabletop. Good, now from tabletop, we're gonna add in some arm stretches here. So keep the right hand planted on the mat. With the next inhale, send that left arm up. Good, reaching for the sky. Feeling that open up through the left shoulder. From here, let's thread the needle, bringing that left arm under and across. Then we'll start to bring our forehead or cheek down to the mat. From here, just walk the right arm up. So extending, reaching fingertips to the top. Just holding here, breathing. Last option here, and these are only options. You never have to go in too deep, but if you want to challenge yourself, just reaching the right arm across for that left hip crease. That will add a little bit extra stretch through the right shoulder as well. If you did find this variation, gently start to release right hand, plant it back beside the head first. And then we're going to press ourselves up here, lifting the chest, extending left arm, and lower back down. Good, pause for a moment here in our tabletop, and then we'll repeat on the other side. Good, so start by spreading the left fingertips this time, really pressing that hand down on the mat. With the next inhale, sweep the right arm up. Extend the fingers to the sky. Keep breathing here. We'll thread the needle again. So right arm is going to come under and across, allowing the palm to face up. Just bring forehead or cheek down to the mat on this side. When you're ready, start to reach the left hand to the top. Good, so we've got a nice extension through both arms. Take a breath here. Good, last option in this pose, if you want to join me here, finding a bind. So The left hand can reach across over to the right hip crease. If not, just stay wherever you are and just focus on your breath. If you did find that bind, gently start to release left hand, plant it back beside the head on the mat. When you're ready, we'll press up, extend the right arm one more time, and lower back down. Great job. From here, we're gonna find our child's pose. So bring those knees nice and wide, big toes can come together to touch, and just start to sit the hips back. So the difference between this one and our melting heart puppy pose is that we do sit our bottom back onto the heels, and then start to extend the arms here. So this is a more restful variation, bringing the stretch into the full body. So we've got arms working, legs working, and then just allow your body to feel completely supported by the mat or the floor below you. So anytime we're doing yoga, this is one of the best poses to just rest in. So if we're doing a certain pose and it doesn't feel good on your body, you can always come back to this one. Or Shavasana, where we just lay flat on our back. Good, so take a couple more breaths here. I'm gonna add in a little stretch for the arms and the back. Just starting to walk the hands over to the left side. Keep the head and the lower body where it is, but just moving those arms. So changing how that stretch feels down your back. Take another breath on this side. And then we'll gently walk our hands over to the right side. Noticing how that changes the stretch again. Just moving our arms here. Take another breath. And then we'll press back up here. Bring the hands to center first, and then we'll come back into tabletop. Okay, from tabletop, we're gonna come down onto our bellies. So however you're comfortable to get there, I'm gonna do a little half plank. So just walking the knees back, engaging the core, keeping the arms tight to my side, lower belly down. Good. Now from here, we'll do a couple rounds of our airplane pose. So bring the hands down by your side, palms facing down. We'll just rest our chin on the mat. Good, so I'll explain this pose before we go into it. So when we do airplane, we're gonna extend our arms, extend our legs, reach everything into a nice long line. So keep the arms tucked by your side, but we wanna lift everything up and make sure not to crank your neck up. So we don't wanna do something like this when we're doing airplane, because that can really be hard on the neck and the back. So just, you can keep your chin resting, or you can lift your head up in a nice straight line. You can see how I'm just looking down towards the floor. Okay, so big breath in all together. On the exhale, lift the legs, lift the arms. Good, as you're reaching here, point the toes, extend the fingertips back, and your chest will lift up a little bit, but think about your body staying in a nice long line. Reach, reach, reach. Good job, lower back down. You can bring your hands stacked on top of each other. Maybe just let your forehead rest here. Take a little break, and then we're gonna repeat one more time. Okay, back into airplane, so extending your arms again. This time for an extra challenge, think about zipping your legs together. So from the top all the way down to the toes, keeping those legs nice and tight. Big breath in. Exhale, lift the legs, lift the arms. Nice long line through the entire body. Keep your gaze down towards the mat. Take one more breath here, see if you can find a little bit more height lifting those arms and legs. And lower back down. Good job. Take a moment again just to stack the hands. Forehead or cheek can rest. Let go of any tension you're maybe holding through the legs. Give your feet a little wiggle out. Good. Our next pose is going to be a nice stretch for the arms. So start by extending that left arm out. So not straight out in capital T and not up towards the top, but just kind of at an angle here. And then we're going to start to roll over onto our left side. So a couple of options, you can stack the legs like I am here, or you can bring your top leg, plant the sole of the foot, and just bend that knee. Good, so as we're rolling over here, you should really feel the stretch through that left shoulder, through the left side of the chest. Just let yourself rest on the left side of the body, so your head can be on the mat, left leg on the mat. Hold and breathe. And when you're ready, come back onto the front body. We'll take a moment to switch to the other side. So this time the left hand can come in beside the head. And then we'll start to extend the right arm. So finding a nice angle here. And then we'll roll over onto our right side. So the left hand can just be resting beside you. First option here is to have our legs stacked. Second option, bending that top leg, planting sole of the foot. Sometimes this feels good just to kind of steady yourself. And you're in control of this stretch. So if you want to deepen it a little bit more, you can press your body over a little bit more into that right shoulder. So if you want to come out, just let off a little bit. Wherever you are here, take another breath. Good. And we'll start to come out of the stretch. So rolling back onto the front body. Good, just let your arms rest by your side once you can come down to the mat or the floor. All right, we'll do one more pose from the belly. We'll come into our bow pose. So I'll show you the options here. This is half bow, where we keep one leg extended and we reach back for the toes of the other leg. So that would be our half bow if you want to do that one. I'll let you know when to switch legs. So you'd start like this, and then halfway through, switch to the other side. If you're super flexible, you can do both legs together, lift the chest up, and this is our full bow. All right, so let's go ahead here, get ready for bow pose. So we're gonna start on the left side. So bend that left leg. Go ahead and reach the left hand back, grabbing the foot. Or if you, I don't know if any of you have had straps, because we haven't really used them before, but sometimes you can use something to wrap around your toes. Anyways, do the best you can here. So grabbing onto the foot. We'll go ahead, big inhale, exhale, kicking into the hand here, lifting up that foot. Good, hold and breathe. See if you can lift the chest, lift the leg up. If you're doing a half bow, go ahead, switch to the other side. Good, take 2 more breaths here. And then slowly, we're gonna come out of it. So think about bringing chest down first. And then once you feel like you can gently start to release those feet, extend the legs, bring the hands back towards the top of the mat and stack the hands. You can just let everything relax. So we're gonna start to press ourselves up, coming through our tabletop, finding a downward dog. So for downward dog, we press the hands into the mat, tuck the toes, send the hips up high. And then take a minute to really stretch out the legs here. We haven't worked them too much yet today. So pedal the heels, you can lift them up and down. Bend the knees a lot. And then as we hold in downward dog, we'll add in a little extra stretch here. So just taking the right hand, if you can pick it up and reach towards the back of the left leg. Just wrapping that hand around the ankle or the back of the calf, wherever you can grab onto. Then we'll start to release that hand back. Just pause at center for a moment. And then we'll repeat on the other side. So lifting up the left hand and then reaching that hand across. So wherever you can grab onto the right leg. Okay, good. Come back to a full downward dog. So both hands on the mat. We're going to slowly start to step towards the top of the mat. And we'll find our forward fold. So bend the knees, just let your arms, your neck, your head hang heavy. You can add a little bit of a sway from side to side. And if it feels good, you can grab onto opposite elbows with your hands. As we're holding here, maybe just give your head a little shake, yes and no. Make sure that the neck is not holding any tension. Now from here, release the elbows. We're gonna find a flat back halfway lift today. So just bringing the hands on the front of the shins. Think of a nice long line here from the crown of the head all the way to the tailbone. So nice flat back, hold, and then lower back down. Good, just let everything hang heavy. And we're gonna do that one more time. So when you're ready, bring the hands on top of the shins, big breath in, nice flat back, lifting up. Awesome, lower back down. Good, from here, we're gonna start to find our Malasana pose. So I'm gonna turn to the front so everybody can see me. So we wanna, from our fold, we wanna just widen our feet a bit so you can heel toe the feet apart. And then point the toes out to the sides. Good, once you're there, you can bring your hands in front of you. And then slowly, slowly gonna bend those legs. Good, coming all the way down. Good, so your hands can be there for support for balance. If you wanna challenge yourself, you can start by picking the hands up. The elbows will press into the knees here. So we're still lifting everything up, but we're balancing on our feet and then bringing hands to heart center. Good, so this is a really deep stretch. So listen to your body. If that doesn't feel good, just hang out here in our forward fold, but keep the feet wide. If you are in Malasana and you've got your hands at heart center, you want a little bit more challenge, the last option here is to add a side twist through the arms. So we'll start by bringing the right hand down. That left arm can reach up, gaze will come up here. Big stretch through that left side. And then we'll switch hands. So left hand will come down. Go ahead, reach the right arm up. Nice big stretch through the right side. Awesome job. Bring both hands back down. Just pause here for a moment. And then slowly we're going to come out of Malasana. So just start to kind of press into the hands, send the hips up high, straighten the legs. And then we'll find a wide-legged fold. So keeping the feet wide apart, but toes can point forward now instead of pointing out at an angle. Good, again, just let everything hang heavy. You can reach for opposite elbows if that feels good. Take one more breath here. Okay, now we're gonna keep our feet where they are, but start to lift the upper body. So bring hands onto hips, come all the way up. Next pose we're gonna move into from here is our goddess pose. So nice strong pose. Take the feet turned out to the side. We want nice wide stance here. Couple of options for the arms. You can go hands on hips. You can bring hands to heart center. When you're ready to come into it here, we'll start to bend the knees, sinking down. Good, so I like to think about my back body just sinking down a wall so that we're not sticking out like this, but hugging the chest, the core and the belly button in and keeping our upper body lifted here. Good, so nice bend in the legs. Hold for another breath. From goddess, we'll come up into star pose. So from here, lifting up, straightening the arms, straightening the legs. Nice big star. And then come back down, goddess again. Good, see if you can maybe sink a bit deeper, spread the feet a bit wider. Keeping our heart lifted here, big breath in. And then straighten the arms, straighten the legs, star pose. All right, one more time. Come down to goddess. Hold here, take a breath. Awesome, come all the way back up, star pose. Good job, you can release the hands. Gently start to bring the feet together, so heel toeing. Slowly, slowly bringing them back into a comfortable stance. Awesome job. We'll come back to the top of our mat. Just allow yourself to rest heavy here. If your arms come down to the floor, something that sometimes feels good is to just bring the hands underneath. So your palms will face up towards the ceiling and just bring the toes on top of the hands. Then from here, you can round the shoulders, bend the knees. So this pose is called gorilla pose. If the hands don't come down to the mat, that's no problem. You might be somewhere like this. You can just let your upper body hang heavy. Over time, you'll get more flexibility, and eventually someday you'll be able to reach all the way down towards the mat. And so take another breath here. If you did bring the hands under the feet, go ahead, release. We're gonna sweep our arms up, lifting our body all the way up to standing. Reach for the sky here. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then release the hands. We'll face forward here. Palms facing forward. Really ground your feet into the earth. Holding in our mountain pose for 2 breaths. Good. From here, we'll sweep our arms up again overhead. Reach for the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Okay, now this time we're gonna just start to step it back into our downward dog. So take your time here. Let the feet into the mat again. Bend the knees. Pedal the feet out. We're gonna test our balance here in downward dog. So keeping the hands in front of you, just see if you can start to lift up that left leg. You can just lift your foot a little bit off the mat. Then maybe start to extend that leg, pointing the toes, noticing how that feels down the left side of the body. Make sure to send your breath all the way up to the toes. One more breath here, and then lower the left leg back down. Then bring it back beside the right, pause here for a moment. So when we're in downward dog and we lift the one leg, that's called our 3-legged downward dog. So we're gonna switch to the other side. So start by making sure your balance is even through the hands. Ground down through the left foot, and when you're ready, pick up the right leg. So just start by picking up the toes. And then if you feel like you can extend a bit more, start to point the toes, reaching that leg up. Holding and breathing. 3-legged dog here. And then lower the foot back down. Good. From our downward dog, we're going to come forward here, stepping the left foot between the hands. Lower the right knee down onto the mat. Good. Finding low lunge. So your low lunge might be like this with the chest down, the hands on either side of that front foot. This is our first variation of low lunge. If you want to challenge yourself and play with your balance, you'll bring the hands up on top of that front thigh. Good, so notice as we're holding here, through the right side body, you're really gonna feel the hip flexor stretching. From here, the last modification or variation, I guess I should say, you can come into is sweep the arms, reach for the sky. Good, so working on our balance here as we sweep the arms up, maybe lifting up a little bit. Now, wherever you are in the stretch, we'll bring the hands back forward to frame that front foot. Plant the right hand on the inside of the foot and send that left arm up. Good, so just adding a little side twist here into the stretch. We've got the arms and the legs working here. Now from here, bring the left hand back down. We're gonna find our half splits now. So make sure that the front foot is in between the hands. Your hands or fists can be down on the ground or the mat. And then we're just gonna start to sit our hips back. So straightening that front leg a little bit. If you can see, I've still got a bend in the leg, but I'm just picking the toes up. And then you'll start to feel that stretch down the back side of the leg. Good, so just sitting back as far as you need to feel that stretch, and then holding and breathing. And take 2 more breaths on this side. We'll start to come out of our half splits here. We'll plant the front foot back down, bend into the knee. And then just bring that left knee back beside the right. So we're now in tabletop. From here, tuck the toes, send the hips high, back to downward dog. Great, from here we're gonna repeat it on the other side. So bring the right foot forward, left knee down. Good, so first variation of our low lunge here. We've got our hands down to support us, helping with the balance. You can make fists as well. If you need to deepen the stretch, if you're like, I'm not really feeling it through this left hip flexor, then just starting to kind of, I guess, extend through that leg. So you can move your knee back a bit more, or you can rock your body forward. Make sure you're feeling a nice stretch. Next variation is to bring the hands on top of the thigh. So maybe that little adjustment really will just deepen the stretch for you. You want to hold here. And then the last variation is sweeping the arms up, reaching for the sky, maybe bringing the gaze up. Lift the heart. Next, we'll come forward into our twist. So plant the left hand on the inside of the right foot. Right arm will reach up this time. We've got the entire body working here. Take one more breath. And then bring that right hand back down. From here, we'll find half splits on this side. So just starting to straighten our front leg, picking up the toes. Playing around with walking those hands back a little closer to the back knee. Straightening the front leg as much as you'd like here. Just feeling that stretch through the back of the hamstrings and the calf. Keeping our breath flowing. Take one more breath here. Exhale it out. We'll start to bend into the front leg again. When you're ready, just bring that right knee back beside the left. We'll come into one last downward dog here. Tuck the toes, send the hips up. Paddle the feet out, bend the knees up as much as you'd like. Good, and then we'll come down into our tabletop again. From here, we'll do camel pose. So coming up on the knees, just allow the tops of the feet to rest on the mat. Good, so first variation for our camel pose is just to sweep the arms behind the body. You can bring hands onto the low back, so it turns so everybody can see. So just sweeping those hands back, letting them rest on the low back. So if you come into this variation, take a minute to roll your shoulders back. So opening through our chest, breathing in, maybe just lifting the chin a little bit here. And if you've done camel before and you want to go deeper, you can start to just tuck those toes under. Eventually, someday, maybe the hands are going to reach towards the toes. But if this is camel's new to you, just start here. Holding and breathing will take about 3 breaths. Coming down to our last breath here. If you brought your gaze up towards the ceiling, just slowly start to bring it back in front of you. If the toes were tucked, go ahead and tuck them. Then release the hands out in front of you, finding child's pose. So knees nice and wide, big toes come together. Sit, hips back onto the heels, and then just lower your forehead down. Reach the arms out in front, press the palms into the mat. Breathe. Take one more breath here in child's pose. And then we'll pull ourselves forward. Start to make our way over onto the back body. So turning over, coming all the way down. Now from here, keep a bend in the legs. Soles of the feet can plant on the mat for a moment. Just let the feet come out wide towards the edges of your mat, and then knees can fall in together. Good, arms can just rest by your side, palms facing up. Just hold here and breathe. our next pose is our bridge pose. So you can unknock the knees, so bring them apart, and then just have our feet facing forward. So for bridge pose, we'll turn our palms down. So on the mat beside us, facing down, take a big breath in. On the exhale, lift the hips up here. So lifting the bottom off the mat, engaging our core and lifting everything up here, really pressing through the feet, through the hands, and then lower back down. Now from here, just start to draw the knees in towards the chest. You can bring the hands over top, give yourself a hug. Release the grip, bring the arms by your side in cactus arms. So cactus arms, we bend at the elbow, palms will turn up here, and then keep those knees glued together. Just let them fall over to the right side. So we're coming into a little spinal twist here for the back. Just look up towards the ceiling, or you can turn and look over the left shoulder if it feels good on the neck. Make sure that you've got both of your shoulders supported on the mat. And then we're twisting the legs over to the right side. And take 2 more breaths into this side. Now, if you did look over the left shoulder, just bring your gaze back to center. Start to engage your core here, lift the legs back up. Pause here with everything at center. Then when you're ready to let the legs fall to the left side, go ahead, keep a bend in the knees. Now this time you can look up towards the ceiling again, or maybe just turn the head and look over the right arm. So feeling the stretch down the low back, through the right chest. Really starting to slow our breathing down here. As the gaze came over to the right side, draw back to center. With the next breath, we'll lift those knees back to chest. You can bring your arms up here again. Give yourself a nice big hug. Then from here, release the grip, bend the knees, and we'll use our peace fingers, so middle and index fingers to grab onto the big toes. Another option is just to use all your hands, grab the outside of the feet. So big bend here in the knees. Finding our happy baby pose. You can rock a little bit here. Sometimes that feels nice on the back body. Another option is just to straighten one leg at a time. If not, just keep bent legs, hold and breathe. From here, start to release the feet. Okay, now come all the way back down to the mat with the feet and the legs, but we'll keep our knees wide apart, bend in the knees, and let the soles of the feet touch. So this is our reclined bound angle. Good, so last little stretch here for the lower body, for the hips. You can just let your arms rest by your side, palms facing up. Relax through the face, the shoulders. The entire upper body can just be supported in the mat. Take a nice big inhale. Long, slow exhale. Good, 2 more just like that. When you're ready to come out of this pose, we'll find our final resting pose, our Shavasana. So just start to straighten the legs, Let the feet come wide apart, toes turn out naturally. Make sure we've got our palms turned up towards the sky. Start to close the eyes if they're not there already. And this is the part where we really get to just let go and relax. So take these last few minutes here for yourself. Start to slow the breath. Just let it return back to its natural rhythm. Check in with your body. Notice if you're maybe still holding any tension through the arms, through the legs. See if you can just release it. Allow the entire body to feel completely relaxed and at ease. And slowly, slowly, just start to bring tiny movements into the body. So maybe begin by wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Keep the eyes closed, but when you're ready to come onto the side body, just roll over, bend the knees. Use your bottom arm as a little pillow. Take a couple of slow breaths here, just lying on our sides. Moving gently whenever you're ready, we will end our practice just where we started. So finding our easy pose. Once you're seated here, we'll take one final breath all together. So palms facing up. Big inhale, sweep the arms up, reach for the sky, palms come together. Exhale, hands at heart center. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga tonight. And have a great rest of your evening. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, guys.